What are you up to there, Charles?
I am giving the mountain a sunset salute.
And which mountain is this?
That is Mount Kilimanjaro, the tallest mountain in Africa.
That we will be climbing tomorrow.
To be honest, from here it doesn't look very big, does it?
I mean, it doesn't look small, but and it is very big.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we were closer it would look bigger, but it's got very gentle slopes, and that skirt of cloud doesn't look too rainy, and there's not that much snow at the top, so I think it shouldn't be too cold or too difficult.
It'll be fine.
Last stop before the mountain, buying water for today and a whole load of snacks for the climb.
Energy dense. Let's get ready.
We're in the first climactic zone of the hike. We've got some excellent early noughties jams coming from the porter over there. This is Joseph.
Okay, I am Joseph.
One of our guides. And Natalie. Hello. Our Australian companion. There's some black and white colobus over there. And there's Alex.
Yeah, still here.
Pole pole through the rainforest.
About halfway through our first day's walk. Now in the ferns in the rainforest. And looking out for nettles, of all things.
We love the fern zones. We're at our first camp, Mkubwa. It's at 2,600 meters, and this is our home for the night.
And what does Mkubwa mean?
Big tree. The higher we get in this forest, the less it feels like rainforest and more like a forest in England or maybe alpine. There's lots of little wild flowers. There's even nettles and thistles. And with the lichen in the trees, it's really quite magical.
So we've now reached the second climactic zone after the rainforest, which is the heath zone or the moorland, and now we're going to climb up the back of an elephant, so named because it's very steep and then it levels out.
There is a road?
Yes, you see? That is the rescue road. Just there. You see that small hill?
Because Kenya is educated more than Tanzania, and a lot of educated Kenya, they don't have any job. Yeah. Even the traffic police, when you pass in the road, they like to take it. They don't care if this is,
so much.
They don't care if this is few money or they don't take your.
So after 8 hours and about 1,200 meters of ascent, we have reached our camp for the night, Shira 2, at 3,850 meters. This is the highest that I've ever been. and we're camping in the clouds tonight. We've walked 17 kilometres. It might not be the hardest day that we'll go through, but it'll definitely be the longest.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. My feet are tired, but no injuries and no serious altitude sickness.
We've just got in the tent and it has just started hailing. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Sorry for our porters who are still setting a few things up. At least it's not wet. Huh?
Yeah, but bits of ice are bouncing into the tent.
It's 10:30, day 3. We've walked for 2 hours, moving from the moorland to the alpine desert, and we've walked all of this. You can't see the camp. It's just kind of like this. But, fairly tough going, but we're all okay.
My brother, where do you intend to go tonight? I heard that you missed your connecting flight to the Blue Ridge Mountain over near Tennessee. You're ever welcome with me anytime you like. Let's drive to the countryside, leave behind some green-eyed lookalikes, so no one gets worried, no. So no one gets worried.
So today is day 4. We're starting off at Barranco Camp and we're about to tackle the Barranco Wall. We're at about 3,900 meters, almost 4,000.
This, you can't see it with the sun, this is the Barranco Wall. It looks pretty challenging.
Let's go, you young whippersnapper.
I'm trying.
What are these trees? Halfway between a cactus and a palm tree, but at 4,000 meters above sea level. How you doing, Alex?
Yeah, pretty good. You might be able to tell, but we've reached the top of the Barranco Wall. We've reached the top of the Great Wall, and it does indeed look like winter is coming now. It was a bit of a struggle because yesterday I did sprain my ankle just on a loose rock, so that's 2 ankles down, none to go. But I swapped my bandage over and I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's dinner time on day 4, and this is a lot more rain than we were expecting. How you doing, Alex?
A little bit cold and pretty terrified of getting wet.
Nat, what about you?
My toes are really cold, but other than that, I'm good.
Well, we've got a nice looking dinner in front of us. Vegetable stew, rice and banana fritters.
Nice.
Yeah. Morning of day 5. Morning of day 5. Yesterday afternoon it started raining at 12, and then at 6 it became a full out thunderstorm which went on non-stop until 6 this morning. So we're a bit damp. We've We've not had much sleep, and today is the really, really hard day. A few hours this morning, a little rest, and then walking all through the night.
Yay!
Yeah, you should get someone.
Yesterday's storm at this altitude was fully snow, so it's been a slippy but rewarding walk.
We're at Barathu camp. It means ice in Swahili. It's the last one. We're climbing to the top tonight. Here are our tents and here is our view. Stunning.
And the river got frozen, and the hole got snowed in.
So here we are, starting our ascent up to Uhuru Peak.
We didn't take any more footage of the summit hike because it was so cold and so difficult. We're now actually back home and we finally had time to think about this crazy experience.
We woke up at 11 p.m, preparing to walk before midnight. We had our full mountaineering kit on, so 4 layers of trousers, about 7 layers on top, so 3 or 4 t-shirts, a fleece, a coat, more.
2 pairs of gloves, hat, hood, 2 pairs of socks. And it snowed the whole time. The whole time. Mm-hmm. And at that altitude, the snow is more like freezing rain. And the higher we got, the stronger the wind was. So it was just pelting us in the side of the face.
Yeah, it was really cutting with the ice crystals in it, really. And as we continued, the paths actually got covered up with snow, so we couldn't see our route, and we started overtaking larger groups of people because they had more people to wait for, and having to cut through virgin snow, which was sometimes shin or even thigh deep and falling into our waist, so it was really hard going.
Yeah. After about 3 hours of this, I wanted to stop. I just felt like I wasn't going to reach the end, so why keep going at all? Yeah, I was almost in tears, and I don't really know why or how I kept going.
But you did, which was useful because it was a few hours later before we reached Stella Point that I got really, really tired, and the only reason I could keep on going was because I was following behind you. And I couldn't believe that we weren't there yet. And I did ask a few times whether we could, whether it was possible, whether it was even sensible what we were doing to continue. One thing I actually found about climbing was that it felt quite claustrophobic when we were on the steep incline. All you could see was lights in the distance upwards and lights downwards, and everything else was just within the cloud, and you couldn't really see anything. You just had this massive climb.
So when we reached Stella Point, which is the lower edge of the crater rim, it was amazing.
Such a relief.
It was this milestone we had to get to, and we were completely elated because that was most of the hard work done. It was meant to be only about another hour of relative flat to Uhuru Peak. Stella Point was, however, also the windiest point on the whole mountain, and we stopped there for 2 minutes and carried on.
So difficult. At the top it was about minus 15 degrees, so colder because of the wind than even it was on the climb below. But we forged on, again through virgin snows, and in the end we were the first group to reach the actual peak, which we're very proud of. We made it because we were determined to. We knew people were relying on us, both the donators and the donatees, and because we had a great set of guides who just kept us going, kept us motivated, and stopped us from giving up, which I think we would have done otherwise.
And they prepared us really well, so we didn't have any symptoms of altitude sickness. So we made it to Uhuru Peak, and we took these photos. And then we left. So there was no view at all, which is very disappointing. You know, we've seen other pictures of how incredibly beautiful it is, but at least, you know, we had a very unique experience, even amongst other climbers of Kilimanjaro. Our guide said that they had not had conditions this bad for over 3 years.
They estimate it should take about 6 hours for fit people to get to the top. It took us at least 8, and then it was another 3 hours to get back down to camp. And going down, it had stopped snowing, but it was such a hard slog through the snow again. My fingers were numb, they were tingly, my lips started to swell up massively and crack. I was a mess, physically and mentally, I think.
We had a few hours rest, some food, and then we had 4 more hours walking that afternoon back to a much lower camp. That was one of the worst bits for me, just leaning so hard on my poles the whole time.
My
Serious
ankles.
knee pain, and Alex's recently sprained ankles obviously were a nightmare for him.
So we're on our way out of Kilimanjaro National Park. This is back to the first climactic zone, the rainforest zone.
It was the hardest thing that either of us have ever done, and but also one of the best.
One of the best.